Hello everyone. Yeah, so this is the continuation of my Lab 4 presentation on my second hack, part 1, and I'll be looking at the legal, the ethical, and the industrial implications uh, with vulnerability disclosure. So, and what are the recommendations for when a vulnerability should be disclosed to the public and why? So, first of all, the legal implication associated with vulnerability exposure to the public and disclosure to the public and why it should be disclosed is that, uh, of course, vulnerabilities in, involves people's private information being put out there that needs to be protected by the law. And so it is but normal that organizations have to protect individual organizations and, of course, private data of organizations. For example, a vulnerability that allows an attacker to violate uh, privacy and compromise health data, it's not advisable for that information to be put out there because, of course, the law protects private data from being disclosed to on intended recipients. So it's not advisable that though that is vulnerability that violates people's personal information, that information should be made to the public. It can be made to the public that yes, there's been a vulnerability that had compromised information, like we know of the target hack where people's credit cards information and payment, of course, payment credentials were hacked uh, about 5 years ago, which caused a lot of litigations against companies and individuals that orchestrated that attack. So, and of course, legal actions can be taken against organizations whose servers are attacked. The ethical implications occur when there's a question of whether the public should be informed about the vulnerability or not. For example, if the identified vulnerability is made to the public, or if the identified vulnerability is made clear that there was no vulnerability, or that the vulnerabilities did not actually compromise a lot of data, it can, of course, it will depend. In this case, it becomes questionable whether disclosing the vulnerability to the public is acceptable or not. And of course, we have to look at it again from a religious perspective. Not harming one another is one of the commandments of God. So allowing sensitive information to be disclosed to individuals or to the public is not one of those things based on the ethical point of view. And for the industrial considerations, whether vulnerabilities should be disclosed to the public or not. If software developers are actively working on a patch for known vulnerabilities and have asked hackers not to disclose them until the patch is completed, this this prevents influx of attackers on the systems, and while it allows organizations to take proper actions to prevent further escalation of such threats. I would recommend proper coordination between various entities to ensure that proper measures are taken if vulnerabilities should be disclosed or not. This involves notifying affected organizations for for those vulnerabilities, so that proper action should be taken, so that proper hardening should be taken within the system. Organizations to equally build their systems, or maybe reinforce security within their network, so that these attacks or these forms of things cannot go on again. Why it may not be very possible or practical, is generally best practice to protect users' information within every organization system. And one of the main reasons for allowing for coordination between various organizations is to make sure that they help users protect their information, of course, from attacks being exploited to steal users' data. So the next thing is using vulnerability that we discover within the system, and of course, also we should select a hypothesis on how the vulnerability came into being. Uh, yes, so the I saw one of the vulnerabilities that I found was the cross-site request forgery attack, or it's called the CSERV or session writing attack. It's a form of attack where the web browser is tricked into executing an unwanted action uh, that will result into systems being compromised. This attack is typically conducted using malicious social engineering, such as emails or links to trick victims to sending information to requests that is not legitimate. So the root cause of this vulnerability is being an unexpected user getting authenticated uh, for within the application, which will lead to this type of vulnerability. So it is always good for organizations to educate users, educate system users on how to identify such attacks, and of course, training individuals on proper security processes will always help the organization maintain proper security. Thank you. See you next class.